with Mortal Kombat, the 1995 movie being 30 years, I thought about rewatching it. I've already done Annihilation's review almost 10 years ago, so I won't bother doing that. So the plot, Liu Kang enters the tournament. You have all the supporting characters. Raiden, who doesn't fight in the tournament for obvious reasons, if you know the games. Johnny Cage, Sonya, Shang Tsung, Reptile, Sub-Zero, Kano, Scorpion, Katana. It's a blend of the first two games in a way. I would say my positives of the movie, I still feel like it holds up to me. The action scenes are pretty good. The soundtrack, again, is great. But there is issues with the movie, and my brother will cover that.
One of the major problems with the film, personally to me, is certain characters don't look accurate to their game appearances. The biggest one to me is Katana, as her outfit wasn't even blue. Something that she's known for always wearing. That would be like Jade wearing the color brown as her default. It just doesn't fit. Well, Shang Tsung's island being in disarray doesn't really bother me that much, but if you played MK1, you'd know how very professional and very clean and all, how neat it all looks. Certain characters don't even use their special moves, or barely use them, especially characters like Reptile, and because of that, it makes some of the characters feel nerfed. I understand that some of these characters most likely didn't use these as it was more than likely a problem with the budget, or they just didn't want to blow a lot of money on like just special effects in general. There are some minor plot holes that typically usually happen in these movies. However, they're usually not noticeable, which I'm more forgiving towards. However, the biggest plot hole to me is how Johnny Cage somehow magically escaped hell. Like, all you need to do was just have Shang Tsung transport him back and congratulate him. And just show Shang Tsung... All you needed to do was just have Shang Tsung be shown transporting Johnny Cage back to the island, courtesy of Raiden, because definitely Shang Tsung would not allow Johnny Cage to go back to the island.
See, my biggest plot hole issue is what he said about Johnny Cage, but my negatives is how I feel about Sonya's character being kind of weak in the film, and her fight scenes were not choreographed very well, and I feel like she was not utilized good enough in the film. I even feel like Annihilation did a better job at that, which I hate to praise Annihilation at all, but overall, I still love this movie. I've seen it like probably 100 times. Overall, my nostalgia gives it an 8, but it's really like a 7 in reality, but my nostalgia is blinding it, and like I said, I've seen it 100 times, probably. I would get it on VHS at, like, I don't know if it was Blockbuster or Thomas Video. I would watch it, and then I would rewind it and watch it again a couple more times. But yeah, some of the things didn't age well in the film, like the visual effects. But, you know, that's part of the charm, kind of. And yes, it didn't have some of the gore. It was PG-13. I know some people were turned off by that. But it still worked for it being PG-13.
Personally, to me, I'm not too bothered by the fact that there was less gore in the film. I'm somebody who enjoys the 3D era a lot, which is more known for the gameplay aspects. So, I can understand why people would be a little disappointed considering the fact all the graphic stuff you see in Mortal Kombat. But I can definitely understand why people would be at least a little disappointed.
Well, my brother also likes the story, the lore of it. I like the story and the lore. It's not just the gore. You know, that's what makes Mortal Kombat special, is not just the gore. It's got an interesting story. And like I said, the new one's fine. There's some issues I have with the new one, but it's still enjoyable. But I still prefer the 1995 one, and I always will be saying the 1995 one to this day.
One of the major
One last thing before I'm done with my review. I think this version of Liu Kang is actually one of the best versions of Liu Kang. He's not 100% Mr. Goody Two Shoe. I feel like he's a little more arrogant, a little more naive. You know, he's not the completely boring character. You know, he's questioning Raiden, and he actually has somewhat of a personality in this movie. Unlike the games, I feel like he's kind of too perfect and too, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to say it. Like, kind of like Leonardo from Ninja Turtles. He's just kind of the leader guy, if you know what I mean. But I feel like this version of Liu Kang was a lot better than the games. And also, I feel like MK9 got some of that inspiration from the 1995 movie at the end of the MK9 storyline, in my opinion. But overall, yeah, I would say this movie is still worth watching 30 years later.